大家好，我是徐老师。今天我们来给 AP Statistics 做个总结。那我们就先讲真题吧。这个真题我们拉到这个 Khan Academy，然后到这个我们前面每一章都已经学完了嘛。然后我们现在到这里 Take Course Challenge 做一个 Final Review。好，我们看第一题。M saw a commercial on television that claimed 9 out of 10 dentists recommend using a specific brand of chewing gum. He suspects that the true proportion was actually lower, so he took a SRS, 就是 simple random sample of 50, and asked whether or not they recommend using that brand for the chewing gum. He wants to use the sample data to test p 等于 0.9, p 小于 0.9.Which condition of performing this type did M sample meet? The data is a random sample. 是的，因为它 take 了 simple random sample. The expect count of success and failure are both sufficiently large. 这里它说的就是你的 sample n 乘上你的 probability p， 这个必须要大于等于10。然后另外呢，你这个 sample 乘上这个1减 p。也必须要大于等于10，这个是做 proportion 要满足的条件，大数定理。那么你这里是50个 sample 0.9，这个没问题。然后50乘以0.1就没有大于等于10，所以这个是不满足的。Individual observation can be considered independent， 那应该没问题，因为你只是 take 了50个 sample， 而整个 population 是所有的 dentist， 那所有 dentist 肯定是远远超过50的。那这个没问题。OK，independent 的这个条件是你的 sample 不能超过 10% of the population。好，第二题 ，A recent study shows that viral medication might be useful for fighting certain bacterial infection. Participants with issue were assigned to either a placebo 就安慰剂。or medicine for the first 4 weeks of study, followed by an additional 4 week on the other treatment. Their symptoms showed significantly more improved from the viral medicine than the placebo. What type of study is it? And what is the explanatory variable? 那这个明显是 experiment， 因为它分了2组，然后一组有 placebo， 另一组是真的 treat 了。Where the type of treatment is explanatory variable， 解释性的 variable， 应该是这个吧。看一下解释。The type of treatment is variable explanatory variable， 这个是解释性的意思。对，你的 treatment 产生了效果，所以它是 explanatory variable。OK， a pediatrician randomly select 10 parents of its patient. Then he surveyed the parents about their opinion of different kind of diapers.Identify the population and sample in this setting. The population is the patients of the who wear diaper. The sample is the patients of all the 那这个不对。The population is the parents of the patient. The sample is the 10 parents selected. The parents of the patients. 好，第4题 A new visitor of a certain website has 0.15 proportion of creating an account on their first visit. Let V the number of new visitors who visit the site until the first one of them create an account. Assuming that each visitor's decision is independent, Find the probability that the 6th new customer is the first to create a account. 那么等于第6个才 create， 那么它的 create 是 0.15， 前5个都没有，那么是 0.85 的5次方。这是一个 geometric distribution。那么这个比较简单， 0.85 的5次方，然后乘以 0.15。Nearest hundreds 那就是0.07。OK， 好，L runs a cake decorating business for which 10% of her orders come over the telephone. C be the number of cake orders L receive in a month until she first get an order over the telephone. Assuming the method of placing each cake order independent, find the probability that it takes fewer than 5 orders to get the first telephone order of the month. 那么它这个相当于是 P_C 等于1加上 P_C 等于2。它比如说这是第一个 order 就是 telephone order， 这个是 0.1 嘛，是 P_C 等于2再加 P_C 等于3加上 P_C 等于4，然后同时呢它又是一个 geometric distribution， 那这个我们可以用计算机算一下，second distribute， 然后我们算到 geometric CDF 我们应该是输入5吧，具体输入哪3个参数有点忘记了，我们试一下。它的 P 是0.1， 那可能就输入 0.1 和5就可以了吧。果然 0.1 是代表这个 P， 然后这个参数它小于5嘛，好像是小于等于5。那应该输入4吧，因为我记得是小于等于，输入4 0.34， 那要实在不放心就手算一下吧。第一个是 0.1， 它第二个接到那应该是 0.1 乘以 0.9， 这个第三个是 0.9 的平方乘以 0.1， 第四个是 0.9 的3次方乘以 0.1， 那么这个的话它就相当于是 0.1 乘上1加 0.9 加上 0.9 的 square 加上 0.9 的3次方，那这个前面那个算出来是 0.34 nearest hundreds， 那这个我们计算机算一下，1加上 0.9 加上 0.9 的 square 加上 0.9 的3次方。对，答案确实是这个也算出来 0.34， 那答案就是 0.34， 所以这里应该是输入 0.14， 因为它是小于5嘛，因为这个计算机的这个具体程序它这个我们用这个 GeoCDF 的话会算的是这个 P 小于等于4的情况。所以大家考试就如果碰到这个的话，碰到这种题一下子忘了计算机怎么用了，也不用担心，反正手算一下，它也会让你手算的，挺简单的。OK， 看一下，对 ，x value 输入4 ，OK， 好的。The principal of a high school need to plan seating for commencement. The following two-way table display data of students who are involved in the year's commence ceremony. For students are the event senior and not choir mutually exclusive. Senior, not in choir, mutually exclusive. 这个 mutually exclusive 应该是吧？他们没有重叠，所有的数据没有重叠，应该可以算作 mutually exclusive. Find the probability that a randomly select people from this group is a senior or not in choir. 它是 senior 或者 not inquire， 那么它是一个 senior 是这个，或者 not inquire， 这里还有3个，那么就是加起来是462个，总共是480个。应该是这样的，462除以480，这个会等于0.96，0.9625。这个错了。好，然后看他解释一下。他说 ，mutually exclusive events cannot happen at the same time. There are people in the sample who are senior and not inquire. Mutually exclusive 就是不能同时发生。那么 senior 和 not inquire 确实是 确实是可以同时发生的。哦，这个就是 mutually exclusive。好的。然后具体的计算没问题，把所有的加起来。OK。好。A bakery sells cakes, cookies, and pastry. They wonder if customers are equally likely to buy each product. They take a sample of 200. Chi-square goodness of fit test. Okay. What's the expected count of cake purchase? Expected count of cake to determine if these results suggest that one type of cake purchase that was purchased willing to choose 200 cake cookie of cake purchase， 那么就是200。下面底下是 expected， 那么就是200乘以1/3，因为都是 equal 的嘛，那么200乘以1/3是200除以3，会算到66.67。OK， 好的。这个题他说 match the correlation coefficient with the scatter plot shown below。那这个比较简单。这个 C 明显是正的最大的，所以 C 应该是这个。D 是正的比较小的 ，D 应该是正的比较小的，那 D 应该是这个 ，C 应该是这个，而 A 应该是负的比较多 ，B 是负的比较少。对，这个只要稍微理解一下，这个问题比较简单。好。The density curve below represents the number of minutes after Anne's alarm clock rings that she rises from bed. Which following statements are true? Number of minutes， 它可能是1分钟、2分钟、3分钟、4分钟、5分钟起床，这概率都是一样的。他说 The median and mean rising time are equal。应该是的，因为它是一个 uniform distribution。The height of density curve is 1/5。这个也是对的，因为5乘以1/5等于1嘛。The distribution of rising time is skewed to the right。这个没有，那就选这2个。OK。好，Julia read about a study involving migraine headache in men. Study of over 100 men found that those with migraines had higher 这个什么 level on average than men who were migraine free. Both group of men had similar testosterone level. Conclude that E caused these men's migraine. Why conclusion not appropriate? The The study was observational, so shouldn't make a casual conclusion. 对，他没有做任何实验，只是观察了一下。对。C has a ship. The ship is four furlongs from the dread pirate Michael. If the ship hasn't already been hit, Captain has probability of 2/5 to hit the pirate. If the ship has been hitten, will always miss. If the ship hasn't already been hitten, pirate 有3%. If hit, always miss. If captain and the pirate each shoot once and the captain shoot first, what's the probability that both the captain and the pirate each hit each other's ship? 那么他们都 hit 了，那么第一下他 hit 的话是2/5 hit， 然后这个时候他已经被 hit 了 ，hit 了之后，那么他被 hit 的情况下，What's the probability that both captains hit each other's ship? 他被 hit 的情况下，他能够 hit 他应该是 always missing， 那应该是0啊。对，这个问题应该是0。好的。A pizza shop deliver only one kind of pizza, which is sold for $10. The cost pizza shop $10 to make. The pizza shop has delivery policy say if the pizza take longer than half an hour to arrive, there's no charge. Experience has shown that deliver take longer than half an hour, only 10%. Let the random variable x be the profit. Here's the distribution. Calculate the mean of x. 那这个比较简单，就是-6乘以 0.1 加上4乘以 0.9 嘛，那么就是-0.6加上 3.6， 所以它这个 expected earning 就是3块钱。OK， F runs a large bowling league. Altogether, a member of the league had played thousands of individual games over the course of season. She suspects that the league average score is greater than 150. Take a random sample of 15. The score are strongly skewed to the right with a mean of 156 standard deviation. Want to use the data to t-test about the mean. Which condition has been met? 第一个 random sample 没问题的，提到了 is normal， 那不对，因为它已经告诉你了 skew to the right， 而且它只有15个 sample。如果 sample 大于等于30呢，我们可以认为它基本上是 normal 的。第三个independent， 15个of the legal data。这个应该没问题。他说 a large leaguer， 那么15肯定是小于，应该是小于 10% of the population 的，那这个应该没问题。好的，看他解释，10% 没问题。好 ，researchers once survey students on which superpower they would like to have. The following two-way table display data for the sample of students who respond to the survey. What percent of male in the sample choose invisibility as their superpower? 他说 what percent of male？ 那我们得看 male。invisibility as their superpower， 那么就是14 over 50，那就是28%。这个都比较简单。好。A popular online video game can be played on multiple platforms. 它是 video game, computer, PC, mobile device 有3种。The game offers 3 gameplay models: solo, duo, and quad. Lee and A regularly play matches as teammates in duo mode on a video game. They are curious how their average score per match compared to other players. They use the game's website to take large random sample of duo on any platform. The sample has a mean of 585 per match. For which population is 585 point an estimate of average point per match？ 那么应该是 do model player on any platform. Do model player who play on any platform. 好的。A market researcher for a communication company took a sample of 300 customers to see if those with the children were more or less likely to pay for ungraded internet speed. Upgraded. Here are the outcome of the puzzle result of chi-square test. They want to use this result to carry out chi-square test. What are the value of test statistic and p-value? 那这个我们用计算机输一下好了。它这里是有2种，这里是 no children, 1 children, 2 children。那么我们用一个2乘以3的 table 就可以了。那我们先输入数据，second matrix， 在 matrix 里面到 edit， 然后 A 是一个2乘以3的。那么先输入数据38、7和3在第一行，然后第二行是162、53、37在第二行。数据输完了之后，我们用statistic tests， 然后到 chi-square test C chi-square test， 然后 observed A 已经输入了 ，expected B 这里不用输入，因为它自动会帮你算的。然后 calculate 算出来 chi-square 是 4.327， P 是算出来 chi-square 是 4.327， P 是 0.114， 那么 P 应该是这个 chi-square， 对，没错。好的，这个计算机算一下就 OK 了。好，Jessa works at a potato chip factory and would like to estimate the mean weight in gram of factory's chip bag for quality control purpose. She will sample n bags to build a 90% confidence interval with a margin of error no more than 15. Preliminary data suggests that standard deviation is a reasonable estimate. 那么我们已经知道了 population standard deviation。我们知道如果做 what's the sample size， 那我们知道这个 sample 的 standard error 就是 population 的 standard error 除以根号 n， 而这个要小于等于15。它前面还有个 z-score， z 乘以这个才是这个整体是 sample 的 standard error。那么这个是60，z 的话在 90% confidence interval 的时候，我们要算一下这个是不是我们要算一下 90% confidence interval， 那么用 second distribute。我们用算 z 吧，那么应该用 invert normal， 然后输入 0.05， 因为这里两边是 0.05 嘛，然后再输入0.05 就可以了，会算出来 1.644 或者 1.645， 我们常见的是 1.645， 那就 1.645 吧。然后就可以算 n 了。那先用15除以 1.645， 这个是相当于60除以根号 n 是小于等于 9.11， 然后再用60除以这个 answer， 会算到根号 n 大于等于 6.58， 然后再 square 一下43，那我们就是要44个 bag。 OK， 好的，这个步骤还是比较多的，大家还是需要稍微了解一下。好。A significance test is going to be performed using alpha 等于 0.05. Suppose that null hypothesis is actually true. 那么 H0 is true. If the level was raised to 0.1, which of following would be true? 它这里问的是 Type 1、Type 2 error， 那这里我们需要稍微回顾一下，Type 1和 Type 2。Type 1就是说，H0 是，这是 in real world H0 is true。那么fail to reject H0， 但它是 true， 但结果我们accept H0， 我们结果把它 accept 了。这个是 Type 1 error， 它是 true， 我们就应该 reject， 但结果我们把它 accept 了，对，这个就是 Type 1 error。The probability of Type 1 error will increase， 对 ，Type 1 error 比较简单，它原来 probability of Type 1 error 如果错的话是 0.05。现在变成了 0.1， 那么应该是 Type 1 error 其实实际上就是阿尔法，对，这个比较简单。OK， 我们看一下解释。他说 Type 1 error reject true null hypothesis。对，反正大家记住 Type 1 error 就是这个阿尔法，这个也很容易理解的，对吧？好的。The distribution of an annual profit at a chain of stores was normal with mean 和 standard deviation. The store with profit in the top 5% each had a reward part of the employee to celebrate. What's the closest to the minimum annual profit of store that had a reward party? 那这个我们稍微画一下。这里 mu 是66000，然后 standard deviation 一个 standard deviation， 两个 standard deviation， 这是两个 standard deviation。top 5%， 那么我们要想办法，它这一块面积是前 5%， 那么我们要先把这个 5% 对应的这个 z 给算出来。那么实际上 5% 对应的 z 应该是 5% 对应的 z， 那我们应该用 second distribute， invert normal， 对，因为我们要算这个 z 嘛 ，invert normal， 我们用 5%， 0.05。算出来这个 z 是等于 1.644 或者 1.645， 对。那么这个地方对应的数值就是66000加上 1.645 乘以这个 standard deviation 就可以了。那么 1.645 乘以 standard deviation 22000，再加上66000，会算到102190，那就是这个。好的，我们看一下它的解释吧。对，就是用 z-score 算一下，然后对应的，它直接也可以，反正你只要理解了，怎么样算都可以。对，好，下一个 ，Teachers in a district have been teaching for a mean of 8 years, standard deviation 3, strongly screw to the right. Suppose we took random sample of 30 teacher from distribution and calculate x bar. We can assume the teacher in each sample are independent, which would be the shape of sample distribution of x bar. 那么因为它已经取了30个 sample， 那我们可以认为它是基本上是 normal 的，它满足了大数定理。对 ，sample size greater than 30。OK， 好，下一个，obtain separate random sample of 500 and 500 car owner from the West Coast. They found 58 in West and 35. The researcher used the result to make 95% confidence interval to estimate the difference between the proportion PW 减 PE. The result interval was 这个 They want to use interval to test 0.05 level. Based on the interval, what do we know about the P? 那么这个 interval 它没有包含0在里面，那么所以我们应该认为它们两个是不一样的，所以我们应该是 fail to reject， 应该是 reject H0， 因为我们 reject H0 之后就到了这个 alternative test。那么 reject H0 的话，就说明P 小于 0.05 但这个逻辑是这样的哈，就这么一步步推过来，所以就是 P 小于 0.05， 你只要理解就可以了。And they should conclude that there's a difference between the proportion. OK， 好的。A score is a score between 0到10 that gives a measure of physical condition of a newborn infant. Researchers collect a score of 20 pairs of identical twins. Of 20 pairs of identical twins. 20 pairs. The researcher wants to test if their results suggest a significant difference in A score between the firstborn twin and the secondborn twin. Assume that the necessary condition were met. 那么这个应该用 pair 的吧，因为他们都两配对了嘛。Want to test suggests the difference， 那么应该是 mu 不等于0。好的。An apple producer sells their product in bag and that each contains 16个 apple. These apples have mean of 80 and standard deviation of 5. Suppose that and we calculate the sample mean x bar. 那这是一个 sampling distribution 的问题。那么 mu x bar 应该是80。然后 standard deviation of x bar 这个很简单，就是standard deviation of population 5除以根号 n， 那么这个就是5除以根号16，那就除以4就可以了。5除以4 5 over 4 OK。A researcher posts people as they walk by on the street. What type of sample is this? Simple random sample, stratify, cluster, simple. 应该是不是都不是啊？应该，看他怎么解释的。他说，这应该是属于 convenience sample, readily available to reach， 就因为它没有做到 simple random sample， 它没有 random，对，这一部分的题比较容易做错，因为这是属于第3章那个 study 的题嘛，都是 reading 的问题，都是概念性的，没有什么数学性的。实际上我觉得反而对大家来说比较难一点，计算的反而不难。OK， 好，F recorded the daily high temperature in the city every day for 2 consecutive months. She was trying to describe the distribution. Here's the description of distribution. Daily high temperature, number of days. Okay, the distribution of temperature varies from about 0 to 30. The distribution is by model, and their don't seem to be any obvious outlier. Which component is missing? 那 shape 已经说了是 by model， 就是说差不多有两个分在这里，然后center 没说，对，他没说 center。spread 说了0到30 ，outlier 也说了，就 center 没说 ，OK。A division of a company has over 200个 employee, 40% of which are male. The company is going to randomly select 4 of these employees to attend a conference. Let X be the number of male employees chosen. What's the probability that exactly 3 of the 4 employees chosen are male? 那么 number of male employee chosen 3个被 choose 了，那么我们有1、2、3、4个 people， 这3个是 male， 一个是 female。40% are male， 那么 choose male 的概率就是40%， choose female 是60%，这是一个 binomial distribution。然后它这个3个 male 一个 female 的排列情况是4个里面选3个，或者4个里面选1个，这个有4种。那么具体的算法就是4乘以 0.4 的 power of 3， 再乘上 0.6， 会算到 0.1536， 0.15 就可以了。这个有点像个竞赛题哈，也像个基本的竞赛题。好的，它用计算机算 binomial PDF 也可以4次 0.4。那我们还是手算一下吧，这个题手算比较方便的，实际上。好的，E read an article that said 6% of the teenagers were vegetarian, but she thinks it's higher. Took random sample of 25 and 20% of them were vegetarian. To see how likely a sample like this was to happen by random chance alone, perform a simulation. She simulated 40 sample of n 等于25 student from large population. 那么底下它就是它 simulation 的结果。She recorded the proportion of vegetarian in each sample. Here are the sample proportion from 40. Simulated sample proportion 0%、2%、6%。Once test hypothesis HP 等于 6% 和 HP 大于 6%。What's the appropriate p-value for the test? P-value， 那么它总共是这里取了40个 sample。sample proportion， 这里 sample proportion 它做出来，大于 6%。那么其实是小于 6% 的都可以。P-value, the sample result was, note the sample result was p-hat 等于 20%。Where P is a true proportion. Based on this simulation, what's the appropriate p-value for the test? 这个 p hat 是20%，就相当于这个20%发生的20%发生的可能性，大于20%发生的可能性是，那我们应该看这个，看20%，大于20%可能性是3个，然后总共有40个 test， 那么应该是3除以40会算到0.075，那么应该是这个。好，看下一个。James is interested in the relationship between weather condition and whether the downtown train sometimes take runs on time. For a year, James recorded whether each day is sunny, cloudy, rainy, or snowy. Which graph displays the conditional distribution of arrival status of each weather condition? Each weather condition， 那么就是4个 weather， 然后frequency on time 的是，这个比较简单，这个应该是 A 吧，因为 for each weather condition 嘛。OK， 好，the probability that Leon take a 3-point shoot 15%。Simulate 25 trials. Use the result to estimate probability that it takes more than 5 shoots to get the first successful shot. 5， 那么就是1个、2个、3个、4个、5个。more than 5 shots. More than 5， 那应该是从6开始数起。总共有25个 trial， 那数一下这边吧，这有5个、3个、8个、9个、10个、11、12，这边是12个，那这边是13个。对，那么它的 probability 就是13除以，总共是25个 trial， 13除以25， 0.52。OK， 好的，最后一个。T want to play a basketball game at a carnival. $5 to play, blah 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 blah. Has 40% chance to making this type of shoot. Here's the probability distribution. 对 ，calculate given that mu 等于-1 calculate standard deviation. 那么就是用这个-5。减掉这个-1，然后 standard deviation 是 standard deviation 的公式就是 x1 减掉 x bar 的 square， 乘上 p1， 然后再加上把它们 sigma 取个加总，再开根号就可以了。那我们应该用-5减掉-1的，相当于是-5减-1，那就是-4， -5减-1。减去-1的 square 乘上 0.36， 加上0减-1，那就是1的 square 乘以 0.48， 加上5减-1，那就是6的 square 乘以 0.16， 最后再开个根号就可以了。那么应该是这是16乘以 0.36， 加上 0.48， 加上36乘以0.16， 这个会算到12，那就是根号12，根号12会算到 3.46。 OK， 我们看一下计算过程。对，它就是用知道这个公式，然后计算一下就 OK 了。好的。那我们今天就讲到这里吧，我们下次见，拜拜。